Lumbering forwards.
I remember you, monster. You stole Eleanor from me. Twisted that baby girl into a thing so sick it can't even die. And now you come swanning into my neighborhood looking for me. Wrong turn, Tin Daddy. When we hang you from a street light and you choking out your last, I want you to remember my face.
They know it. I know it.
Well, sounds like the reception in here isn't particularly friendly. But why? But it's in a sense mostly because, well, you can see that that Delta is lumbering about, mostly minding his own business. Well, he's, of course, all the splicers and all those are very dangerous. There's no denying about that. But it's still the matter of the fact that he was completely willing to go through whatever place in peace, and then the whatever splicers or however you wanna call them decided to not let him go through in peace to the whatever pissing grounds or however you wanna call them. And of course that means that he was in peace now previously. Now he certainly ain't in it. Let's get the security bot active. And it's really nice that the enemies don't seem to have that much of omniscience about your... Come on, bot, blow the shit out of that thing. Shit. Well, something blew up. I don't know what it was, but... Hello there, gun-toting splicer. If you didn't know, picking a fight with a 1,000 pounds weighing Big Daddy is not particularly smart move to do. Well, fuck it, I'm gonna blow that thing up. Yeah, rivet guns. And of course, splicers seem to follow the same basic method of all they previously. There's lead heads and the thuggish, and there's most likely also spider splicers as well. Oh yeah.
My folks lived in the St. Louis Hooverville in 32, and the drop is worse by a mile. Nobody's supposed to live down here. City pissing on us. Never tried. Ryan doesn't care, and Fontaine's a damn crook. But Dr. Lamb cares. We're still people to her. She's offering free mental counseling on Sundays. When I go, I get the feeling she's got a plan for Rapture. And for me.
Yep. It's hard to say what it is, but I'm certain that Sophia Lamb is not any friendlier or saner than anybody else in Rapture has this far proven to be. Which is to say, batshit insane. Hell, I think the splicers in a sense are luckiest because, well, they are just insane. And I can see by the level, how the levels look. Is that the interiors are much more, you could say, feel much more real places instead of just interesting level set pieces. There's large chambers, there's more businesses, and there's most likely apartments and all that kind of things. Of course, everybody knows it's in complete state of wreckage, but it still looks much more real. And I got a new gun, shotgun. 50 caliber machine gun. Or even if it were something like a 50 caliber submachine gun, it's still quite a big, big gun. So why you would want to pick a fight with somebody who's able to wave those things around? Doesn't tell you much of a good level of mental state. Fuck. But I could say that this far, the Delta doesn't feel as strong or tough as Big Daddy should be. The difficulty has been put up quite a big time. Although, after having played through the original BioShock in the Platinum Trophy level, which is to say 100% completely, it still makes it appear more like that if you would play it at the hard, or let's say in survival, at the highest level of difficulty at the beginning, it would be very challenging. But if you would then go and play it at the New Game Plus with all the highest difficulty, it ain't so difficult, mostly because you are much more powerful when you start that game mode. And time to buy those just regularly and get forward, leave the warning about. So they really did not get it so well brought forth that how immensely strong and tough Big Daddies are. They are meant to be very strong and tough, capable of smacking basic splicers to pieces, but in this case, that even if the first, you could say the first series of Big Daddies, which is to say Alpha series, of which Subject Delta was the first actually completely functioning one, is that in sense that Subject Delta was the first one to actually...
Old Papa's drops the... Well, sport, I guess Gracie's home. But that big lug just dropped half my damn hotel in your way. Now, to break through that mess, I expect you're gonna have to work out how he got so burly. Find yourself a genetic research camera, son. You can pick up any number of tricks from a splicer with one of those. Try the pawn shop downtown.
Alright, so yeah, it does follow the quite basic mechanics of the, which were established at the original one. That you can get do the research, take photos of enemies, and in that original one it meant that you would get damage boosts. I guess this might mean that you might get some, you would get different gene plasmids for you to use. Yep. Interestingly enough, Lamb was perhaps the only psychiatrist in Rapture, which in a sense is not surprising, knowing that Andrew Rye most likely hated psychology, even though he was himself very adept at using psychology. He most likely hated that idea that somebody might be there and be an expert of it. What kind of upgrades can I get? Let's buy a gene tonic slot. Yep. and it's 4-barreled gun. And I know that in the much later game, BioShock Infinite, which you could say is not BioShock 3 because it happens in completely different space, but it has a DLC which does happen in Rapture and shows how big daddies are first bound to their little sisters. It does, that scene has a bit of mistake in that it shows Big Daddy binding to the little sister as the most, you could say, classical bouncer type. So what? Fucking gorilla, where are you running? It ran through the wall. Oh, you wanna throw me with the furniture? I'm gonna drill you to bits! Oh, a new kind of splicer. Brute. Yeah. But of course, knowing that what these gene tonics do...
Use that code you found on the keypad outside the clinic. Should get you up on the rooftops.
Alright, but where might that be? Well, I did find it, so of course no, I have it's much easier for me to get going. Rest in peace, Prentice Mill.
This is it. It's over. I built this railroad from nothing, played by Mr. Ryan's rules. Asks me to sink my own cash reserves into the banks to give Rapture some breathing room. And now, Austin, goddamn Bathurst.
What do they expect? You keep enough drug stash in this clinic to slice up a rhinoceros. Of course every poor soul in a drop's gonna start beating down your door. It's my job to think up a new key code to keep them out. Seems like every other day now. Nuts. I'll mull it over for a while at the fishbowl diner.
Zero 047. Oh, it's interesting. They did have. They do mark all kinds of. Oh yeah, yeah. It went to that way. But it's really nice to notice that they made much more of these bigger structures to this game. These roof high and buildings within these big structures. Makes this Rapture feel much more spacious, even though it's still just basic trickery about how things are made. It makes there's a lot of different ways that things can be made to look different, bigger, better, more awe-inspiring and all that. And it's nice that they've used all those tricks. He was dressed quite fancy and didn't look so well, he looks awful, but his face had remained quite normal. So because that awful mess he is in is most likely something that he could be hidden with certain kinds of clothing. Yep, and the red light is still there. Make the camera friendly. Oh yeah. Although that turret there is not friendly. So I'm gonna give it a big of electric blast. And make it serve my will instead of will of Sophia Lamb and whoever is running this freak show around here. I'm certain that splicers are something like very badly drug addicted people, as in that you can get their unflinching loyalty with whatever drugs they are addicted to. It doesn't matter who they are, which is in a sense very sad, because yeah, they are the basic enemies and monstrosities you have to face in the game. Gameplay design wise, nothing unusual or unexpected in that, but it still does not remove the basic tragic tone from it. Splicers are not splicers because they want to be them. They are splicers because they were forced to be it, most likely because of conditions where everybody is super powered maniac. You cannot just win without being one. That's or getting some other. Yeah, it's what splicers are is very sad and tragic. Horrifying, yes, and most of them are just so crazy that the only way to actually get some sort of cure is putting a bullet, blowing their brains out of their tormented, most likely very tormented brains out of their just as tormented bodies. Is yeah, when that's the only cure, it's bad thing, and you should not be, you could say, too squeamish about not curing those who are in such bad state that they more or less cannot do anything about their own situation by themselves. Oh, that camera is so... What the hell makes that noise? Things are bad state. Take a load of shotgun to the head.
Now, Eleanor, Mummy has to go away for a while. You shall be staying with Aunt Gracie.
Mummy, don't go.
Eleanor, you are better than that. Do you remember what I told you?
I am very special.
That's right. And what else?
I was born to change the world.
Yes. And when Mummy returns home, the world will be very different indeed. She will make it ready for you.
Another day, no clients. Atlas and Ryan start going at it hot and heavy, and all my business dries up. It used to be easy. Put the eye on some spliced up dame's wandering husband and rake in the dough. Now it's got so bad I had to put my camera and hawk at King Pawn. Makes a guy consider splicing up himself. If I had 2 dimes to rub together, that is.
Oh, I found a... Oh. And now I have hot gun. And now I'm a literally hot shot. Yeah, that was a bad pun. And it looks like Sophia Lamb, despite being in a sense very smart, appearing very smart biologist and all that, doesn't seemingly did not have any kind of basic ideas about how, you know, how things are to be done. Ah, and it's here.
That thing's a miracle in Technicolor, kid. Works like a movie camera. Start the film rolling before you open fire on a splicer, and then anything you hit him with tells you more about his DNA. Let's give it a dry run, shall we?
Ah, quite handy. There's the camera.
Easy now. Looks like you got the jump on this fella. Start your camera recording him, then hit him with a little bit of everything. Plasma. It's firearms, whatever you can dish out. That's it, son. Camera spits out a prize once in a while as you learn what makes a splicer tick. Now, find one of those big old brutes and take them out on film. Before long, you'll be able to brush aside that mess at the hotel.
Very interesting. Although the Sinclair appears, well, judging all the yeah, take photos of all the things before you then start killing them. It's actually quite more like just what expected, and it's also time to save my progress. And getting forward, preparing to take a photograph from a rampaging gorilla kind of psychopath. Maybe I don't know. Does he fit? Is he something to be?
Using that camera is a bit like telling a joke. Each time you tell it the same way, it gets a little more stale, so you gotta change it up to keep it fresh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, somebody's picking a fight with a Big Daddy. And why would did that Big Daddy start being hostile to me? For some reason that Rosie type was extremely hostile, started being horrifyingly hostile to me right at the beginning.
He's nicer than other daddies.
Yes indeed, I want to be nicer. Now, that weakness little sister adopts to you is both horrifying because they forget so fast that you just murdered their protector, and yet also the fact that they adopt to it. So it's horrifying, yet also heartwarming. As in, I don't know how true these cases are, but there have been cases of children being kidnapped, and they consider and in the long run they consider their kidnappers to be their parents, which is, or parent usually, which makes it a sad yet also heartwarming. You are door open.
Ridiculous! Running like a fool.
Fucking splicers. Got me surprised. Shit. That's bad.
This lamb woman's powers of manipulation are almost scary. Her people are using the girls from the surface to gather Adam from Lamb's followers. It's in the blood. And eventually they give themselves over. Like dying is an honor. I'd almost feel sorry for them if they didn't have my daughter. I'm going to find Lamb and take Cindy back one way or another.
That's, in a sense, you can see that Mr. Meltzer, who has also managed to find himself to the Rapture, is quite impressive. Is quite impressive by himself as well.
Adam is here.
Alright, where's the camera? There's the camera. There was the that was the camera. Shit, fucking splicer! You caught me off guard. That's unpleasant. Well, time to save and do the... well, save and do the gathering job. And a bit of continuing.
It's this way.
But how do the little sisters know where these Adam-enriched bodies are, knowing that the general level of violence in Rapture should mean that they have a... they don't need to... they have an endless... He was in a bad state.
You deranged fool! Run there! Run for your family's glory! You animal!
Maybe I am an animal. But I am that which blows you apart.
Let's get it.
Oh yeah, there's one more late one, so it's time to actually end the episode right here once I gather this, and I'll be continuing next time. See ya!